Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel to a brand new video, and today's video is going to be discussing some topics that you have asked me about. So it's basically because once again I've received a lot of DMs and I feel like a video was the best way to get that out there, and it's kind of like a Q&A video, but I just went ahead and asked you guys what videos I should do on Instagram. So I decided to morph them all because obviously I don't want to have like 70 minutes long videos for like every different topic because I feel like it would just be really lengthy and I feel like I'd repeat myself too much. So doing things like this I'm hoping will be a lot better. So let me go ahead and go on my Instagram and have a look at some of the videos that you guys wanted to see, and let me just discuss some of the topics because I'm guessing that a lot of the topics will be requested the same, like similar. I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of bloating, like just common questions that are often asked about DMs and how to handle them. So let's have a look at, so one of the first things that people are saying is extreme hunger. So how to handle extreme hunger, and my best advice for that is to prepare yourself for a recovery feast, which is aka binging, and I already did a video on this, so if you want to go ahead and check the link in the description below, I'll have the link to that video about binging and how it's normal and its normal response to restriction, and how in order to stop the binging we must stop the restriction, and in order to stop extreme hunger you must make sure that you're not restricting because restriction causes extreme hunger. Completely normal. Basically what happens is, imagine you are an animal and you are about to go into hibernation. Animals like to store loads of food before they hibernate, and your body is basically doing the same thing. So once it starts to get food, it's like, oh my god, this is so good, I want more and more and more, I don't know the next time I'm going to get this food. So then it's just going to continue to want to eat like a lot more food, where extreme hunger comes in. So extreme hunger can be two different things. So you could have physical extreme hunger, where you could literally eat something like an entire meal and then instantly get a hunger pain and want something else again, or it could be mental hunger, where all you think about all day is food, and that can be extreme mental hunger. And I experienced more of the mental hunger, and a lot of people else will experience mental hunger because physical hunger signals take a lot more energy and your body doesn't really have that excess energy to spare than mental hunger signals, basically. So they usually send mental hunger instead of physical hunger, but recently I've been getting actual proper physical hunger signals, which I experienced physical extreme hunger for the very first time, and I've never experienced it before. Even in when I was stuck in like quasi recovery and stuff like that, when I almost weight restored last time, I still didn't get physical extreme hunger, but this time I actually have. It's been quite scary, but like I also know it's a really good sign as well, because it's the fact that it means that my body now has excess energy to spare to be able to send me these physical hunger signals. So I think it's really good. So let's have a look what everyone else is saying. Being afraid of the future, using the ED as a mechanism. I know it's really easy to get stuck in kind of like a safe place. Like I feel like a lot of people hit like a safe weight, or like a safe weight kind of thing, which is actually probably 9 times out of 10 really dangerous, but they feel safe at this weight. I know I did for definite, and I was stuck at this like weight for like ages, and it felt too dangerous if I went over, and it felt too dangerous if I went under as well. So I was kind of like stuck in this quasi little bubble thing for some time, and the future was stopping me. I was so scared. I was like, I'll have to do work again, and work gives me anxiety, so I don't want to go back to work. I have to do this again, I have to do that. And then it's mainly just balancing out the positives, write down the positives of things. Going back to work, I get to meet new people, I get to do something I do enjoy, even if it gives me a bit of anxiety. I get to like make children's days, I get to, you know, like dress up as a Disney princess. Like who doesn't want to do that? You know what I mean? Like I get to do things like that. And yes, it's scary, and yes, it's fear of the unknown, but like, you know, you have to move forward. Like you can't just spend your life at one stage like for the rest of your life. Like I just always say live in the moment, because you don't know what is going to happen. Like I don't know what's going to happen in 10 minutes time. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or next week or by the end of the year. I don't know. Things could be completely different. I could not even be here. Like, you know what I mean? Like you just need to really live in the moment. Look. Tips for increasing portions. Like it's really hard because I feel like everyone it's not really a good idea to look at, you know, people's comparing portions and stuff on Instagram, because everyone has different hunger and everyone is like, you know, has different amounts of hunger, yeah, basically. So what I did personally was every time I would portion out things, so say I got a tray and I portioned out some fries or whatever, I would always over portion. So I would portion myself what I think at first, and then realize that your first initial reaction or your first initial portion would probably be, you know, that wired anorexic kind of portion. So then always add more, and even if there was like, you know, too much, or like it looked like there was too much, like I was like, oh whoa, I'm never gonna finish that amount of fries or whatever. Then when I actually sat down to it, I was actually super hungry to the point that I did finish the fries. There was the odd occasion where I didn't finish it, so say I put like mini potato waffles like down and I put like, you know, like 8, and then I ate like 6 instead of 8 because I just got satisfied when I got to the 6. So like that kind of thing, like it's all just depends on you. Like you have to play around with these sort of things. Like this is not something that you're just gonna like you know, do instantly. It's kind of a thing that you learn over time. You learn what your hunger is, you learn the foods that you want to eat. Obviously it's harder if you don't have an appetite for anything, then it's kind of like forcing yourself to eat, especially if you are, this is another thing as well, lots of people contact me saying that I want to eat but I'm so physically full, I'm still thinking about food, I still have mental hunger, but I'm so physically full and I just can't eat anymore. And like that's like the kind of thing that you have to eat more in order to stretch your stomach capacity, and in order to actually be able to eat a lot of food, you have to stretch your stomach capacity. So it's kind of like a tough situation. Like you're gonna have to feel uncomfortable, you're gonna have to eat, and over time you'll be able to, like, you know, stretch your stomach capacity. Imagine it like an elastic band that you need to snap. Let's have a look. Gaining on low calories / restriction amount versus all in. So gaining on low amount of calories, this is a really common question that I'm always thinking. Like loads of people come to me and they're like, I want to, you know, go all in, but I'm really scared because I'm already gaining on like, you know, a really low amount. And I'm like, well, that gives you even more reason to go all in. Like the only way you're ever able to speed up your metabolism is by eating more food. Once you restrict and when you get to a certain point, your body starts to shut down and starts to go into starvation mode because it can't burn the energy. It wants to store the energy rather than burn the energy. So it starts to store it by, you know, shutting off your metabolism. And that's why you get so cold, and like that's why, like, you know, your blood circulation doesn't pump properly around your body and you start to get really cold hands. People get like chilblains and stuff like that because your metabolism isn't working. But when you start to eat more food, your metabolism starts to speed up again because it starts working again, and then it's quite often common that it goes to hypermetabolism, where it starts to speed up so much that you start to have night sweats, you start to, you know, burn up really quickly, you start to, you know, maintain on a really high amount of calories, sometimes even to the point where you end up losing on a really high amount of calories and you have to gain again. So like there's loads of different things that like is like the reason behind that. So you want to make sure that you are eating enough food, and that if you were gaining weight on this low amount of calories, that just gives you even more reason to go all in. Even if you're at a healthy weight, yes, you may gain some weight for some time, but that is literally just for your body to start working again and start thinking. And plus, if you're gaining weight so easily, 9 times out of 10 you're not at your set point. What do binges look like in recovery? Well, everyone's is different, and I feel like your ED kind of manipulates you in some senses because it makes you seem like you've ate so much food, and then when you've actually wrote it down, it doesn't actually seem like that much. I can't really say from me though, because when I write it down, it still looks like a lot of food. But like, I think everyone is different. Like I see people be like, oh, I've just binged, and then they're like, I ate like a pint of ice cream and like 2 big cookies, and I'm like, I personally wouldn't class that as a binge because I know normal people who eat a pint of ice cream and cookies. Like think about it, if someone got like a Domino's pizza, ice cream and cookies, like like normal people can do that, you know what I mean? So like I wouldn't really class that as a binge. I would say like it's more when you literally like you feel like an empty pit and you just keep eating. So like sometimes I can consume like 8 cupcakes in one sitting, like an entire cakes and stuff like that. I can go through a lot of food, to be honest, and that's just because of my stomach capacity as well now. It also depends on my extreme hunger. Like some days I literally can't even think about eating like 8 cupcakes. It would probably make me feel sick. But some days when I'm really hungry, then you know, you gotta eat. Exercise and movement, addiction tips, how to deal and how to overcome anxiety. So this is like, I feel like I want to do a separate video on exercise and addiction, so I'm not going to cover that, and I'll do another video about anxiety as well. But like, it's such a hard thing to deal with. Like I really struggle, to be honest, to leave my house because of the anxiety that I have around leaving my house, especially now, since like I actually had more anxiety though when I was such a low weight, because I felt like really unnormal and unnatural. And I've actually went out before and I've heard comments and stuff about people mating about me and stuff, and like it upset me, and like it's kind of always stuck in my head, so I always didn't really want to go out that much. So that kind of sucked. Let's have a look. Educating people around you about extreme hunger. So my best thing is either show them a video on extreme hunger, so maybe Tabitha Farah's. I have a video on extreme hunger as well on my channel from like ages ago. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, I still have one, and I think that was still a good video. I'll have to have a look though to make sure that I say everything right in that video, but I want to make a more updated video anyways. But just educate them like that, send them blogs like Tabitha's once again. Talk about how you're feeling, like talk about how extreme hunger feels for you, because extreme hunger might not be the same for everyone, you know what I mean? Like just let them know that it's a normal part of recovery, and let them know that you're not developing binge eating disorder, you know what I mean? Like just let that know that that is not really like a thing that's going to happen. Just try and just comfort them about them as well, because they're probably going to be like, I'm not gonna lie to you, like it looks a bit weird when someone goes from eating barely nothing to eating so much food. And also I feel like it's not the fact that like it's like, oh, they go from eating nothing to eating so much food. It's more the fact that the parents kind of worry about, are they compensating for this? Are they purging? Are they like doing excessive exercise? It's that kind of thing. So making sure that you know, you be on board with your parents and be like, I'm not going to compensate for this. I'm not going to purge. You can even check on me, you know what I mean? Like I'll leave the bathroom door open for you if you want me to do that. You know, just kind of work with your parents and comfort them and let them know that you're not going to do any behaviors to compensate for this food. You're literally just really hungry and you just want to eat all this food. You know what I mean? It was really hard when I started to do my extreme hunger actually, because I kind of fooled my parents for so long that, you know, I wasn't hungry. I didn't have hunger signals or anything like that, when in fact I really did have really strong hunger and stuff. So when I did start to eat all this food, like my parents did freak out. They were like, is she doing behaviors? Is she going to start doing like her excessive exercise again? You know what I mean? So I have to like reassure them basically that I'm okay and that I'm just doing this because this is what I need to do. Get what I mean? Just, you know, just really talk to them and really, you know, they need just as much reassurance in you. How do you manage to know what you crave? It's really hard, especially when you haven't ate a food in a specific time. Then sometimes your brain can convince you that you don't like a specific food, or sometimes your brain can convince you that, like, you know, you dislike it or you're scared of it, and then when you try it you're actually like, oh wow, this is actually amazing. Like recently I've had this weird obsession. I've never liked coconut in my life, never liked coconut, never liked Bounties, which is like a chocolate covered coconut thing, but recently I've been so obsessed with macaroons. And I thought at first it was just because like it was a chocolate macaroon, then my mum bought me the normal and plain macaroons and I love them just as much, and now I'm obsessed with macaroons. And I've never ever liked coconut, or I think I haven't. Maybe that was my AD too. But anyways, I've been craving them and I've been eating them, and I don't even think I like coconut. So You know, we have weird cravings, but the best thing to do is that when you're thinking about a specific food and you're really, really thinking about it, or you see something, you see your scroll on your Instagram feed and you see like crepes or whatever, if you're thinking about it and you're like, oh, you know what, crepes might be nice again, I like to try that again, then go ahead and try that again, because 9 times out of 10 that means it's a craving. And then you might really crave that for some time. So I usually say, for example, when I tried my favorite hamburger buns again, all I wanted was them hamburger buns. I didn't want anything else except from them buns. And like, once again, them are just like weird cravings that can happen. Hyper focused on what others eat. I think I spoke about this before in the video. It's basically when you're starving, you become really hyper aware of everything you're eating, like everyone around you, every food. Smells become extremely strong. Like I could literally go out in the street on a Friday night and smell everyone's takeaway in the street, because it was just literally like my nose would just be like a completely, what's that animal that sniffs like really, really well? I don't know, but like, you get me anyways. I just had a really strong sense of smell. And then things like you can hear food being cooked really well. You kind of become like Spider's Man for a second, because you have like spider senses. Because of the fact that like you can literally hear like a crisp packet being opened, or you hear the cupboard door really loud. But this can get super annoying when you are starving yourself, because I like, honestly, it's such the worst thing. It's pure torture when there's someone sitting next to you eating away and munching, and you hear them munching and they're like proper smacking. Well, they're probably not proper smacking, but to you, because everything is so enhanced and everything is so aware, you hear it like so much stronger, and you're like, can you stop please? Because you're like sitting there and you're like starving, and all you want to do is just go over and like steal that bag of crisps and stuff. But like I remember I snapped at my parents so many times for this, because I actually wanted to be sitting eating that bag of crisps. And now I can, but like back then it's just such an awful thing. But that's what happens when you're starving, because it's literally your brain sending you food, where's food? Just imagine if you were in the middle of a desert and the first instinct that you're going to look for is water and food. So just think of it like that. A lot of people want a video which is not related to eating, but I've got that. I'm doing a video, planning on making a video called The Real Me, which I will be discussing all about myself and answering questions that are unrelated to ED, and telling my more personal, my life story, kind of like, you know, when everyone did that huge craze about the draw my life, I'll probably be doing something like that. Let's have a look. OCD behaviors, a separate video, because that's just so long. Coping with body changes, that's a separate video as well, talking about thigh gap, because recently, yay everyone, I am losing my thigh gap, which means I am nearing my weight restored point, which is super scary. But I am prepared. In what I celebrated by was I got a Chinese takeaway the other night because I wanted to celebrate losing it. Obviously it's scary, and obviously it's extremely like strange and tough, and especially because last time I relapsed at this point. But I'm determined to go all the way, and I'm determined to, you know, keep up this all-in thing for the rest of my life. Let's have a look. I think that's everything. Yeah, I think I've pretty much covered a lot of topics that you guys asked me there. Thank you so much for all the questions and all the little responses that I had to my story. I hope you are all doing well, and I hope you have a lovely day, and goodbye.